Hello. We had technical difficulties when I was throwing my little cups and the feed stopped working. So I don't know if anybody's out there. Hopefully there. Some people join us. I'll continue working for a few more minutes. But I'm doing the same thing, just throwing these little porcelain cups. They're wine goblets, which you can get. I don't see anybody there yet. So anyhow, as soon as I see somebody's there, hello, hello. I'm sorry we got bumped out of the first round of this. So I'm going to continue working. I'm throwing some little porcelain cups on my wheel here. I'm actually sitting at the wheel, so I'm going to redirect the camera so you don't have to look at me. But good, a couple of people coming back in. And I'll redirect the camera and I'll tell you what I'm doing and show you what I'm doing. I'm a big show and tell guy. I learn by seeing somebody do it, by trying it, and then watching them do it again. Because not until I try doing it do I realize what they were doing with their hands or the material, whether it was blacksmithing or pottery or anything like that. So this is what I'm making. Hey Betsy, how you doing? Betsy, you probably got a few of these. These are little wine cups, and we have had them offered them as a thank you for donations to Mana Food Banks in the past years. This time, because we're doing the show virtually, we have two groupings of 4 wine cups each that were decorated by different family members for the Family Art Show as part of our raffle for We Give a Share. So make sure you go over to our website, voorheesfamilyart.com, to buy some raffle tickets, and you could end up with a set of 4 of these. Anyhow, this is one I decorated. Here's another. These are very simple little porcelain wine goblets or cups that I will, I'm getting ready to throw some. You can see them in the background. There are a couple there. And tomorrow, when they're stiffer, I'll add some black slip. In my jar of black slip. I'll stir it up and brush it on. Then I let it dry another day, and then I scratch this decoration, different decorations. It's really cool medium to work in. It's just a simple black and white. It's slightly glazed over, and then I do put a colorful glaze on the inside for where the wine or the juice or whatever you want to use it goes. So I got a sip of coffee, so I'm good. So I'm going to make another one, So anyhow, y'all are here because you saw something about it on Facebook, and appreciate that. The Family Art Show is underway now, and will be going on today and tomorrow. There's a whole schedule of live events. I happen to be the first one. Molly will be doing one at 1 o'clock. She'll be actually melting scrap silver and creating an ingot and then rolling it in the rolling mill so she can make a sterling silver sheet that she can make some new work out of. So that's what she does with her scrap now. She learned how to do this. She took a class in Florence, Italy, with a master goldsmith, and they had to make their own gold alloy. So I think it was 18 karat gold, which is a combination of pure gold plus some other things. I don't know what. She's going to tell you all about that. So I've just centered my little piece of porcelain. It's 300 grams of clay, so less than a little more than half a pound. This is the third one I've made this morning. My hands are just getting warmed up. Usually takes a few. I usually make about a dozen of these at a sitting, knowing that the decorating part, where I can throw these things fairly quickly, the decorating part is the one where I want to spend time. And I can easily spend half an hour decorating one of these little cups, so depending on how complex I get. So that's called pulling the clay. I'm actually using pressure inside and out, make the clay thinner, and that raises it. You're not really pulling anything. It's funny because potters around the world have different terms for things, pulling, raising. Raising is probably more accurate. And also do a little bit of shaping as I'm going. But the clay is very thin. You can see you see how thin it is? I'm going to flop it if I'm not careful. So I'm going to use a flexible rib here to smooth the outside. It'll make it easier to decorate. And it also helps me determine the final shape of this thing, the final form. So I like that. Now get the water out of the inside. We have two people. Holly's still watching. Hi, Holly. Where are you? I know your name, but I can't remember where. Are you a potter? Maybe I'll get an answer back. So I use for chamois, I use a piece of thin plastic. This just smooths and rounds down the rim. And I like to do that for all of the pots I make. It really makes a difference in having something, especially something that's going to be against your lip. And then I'll choke in the base just a little bit. Now cut a little bit of this excess clay away. It's just a bamboo knife. Piece of bamboo with a sharp edge there. They keep a sharp edge for a long time. Use a piece of fishing line to cut under it. Dry my hands a bit. There's my cup. Now I was just beginning to show this when we got cut off last time. This is called a rounder. And probably tonight before I go to bed, and I'll probably cover these over with plastic just before I go to bed, but I'll come and I'll take them and I'll take this thing and I'll actually stick it inside here and I'll push it down and roll it around just a little bit. It makes anything that's gotten off shaped, off round, which they all do, it makes it round again while it's still soft enough to go back to round. So that's why it's called a rounder. Real handy thing. I got this from Bill Van Gilder. The idea is his looks a little different than this one. And I have a few up in the window. You can't see it's so bright there. We got a really nice sunny day here. I'm not going to get stuck in my studio all day. I want to go for a hiker. I've already been on one hike with the dogs. So we have two dogs and they love to go there hike and they like to chase the rabbits and we watch the birds. Molly and I have gotten into doing that. Porcelain, stuck to the wheel head, the back. Center the clay. The potter's wheel is a wonderful invention. I'm not sure they have ideas of where it was first developed. It goes back a long, long time. I found an early pioneer wheel down at the Clemson Gardens. There's a little like a heritage log cabin there, and they have an old potter's wheel on the front porch, or they did for a while, and it was a kick wheel, and it was a great big old, made out of branches, and it did have a steel axle, and it reminds me of my first wheel, which was made from a truck axle and a sheet of plywood, and I had a steel flywheel cut out by a welder. And I used that for years, but kicking a wheel, you know, for 6 or 8 hours a day is pretty hard. So I use about 3 poles to get the height and the thinness that I want. The general shape, and then I take my flexible rib. Florida. Holly, you're in Florida. Okay, cool. Catherine, hey, how are you? It was so good to see you last night on Zoom. You look like you were sitting out on the your front porch. Is that where you had to go? Because Jeremy was putting Grayson to bed or something? Yesterday was my 70th birthday, and my family surprised me with a Zoom party last night, and it was a hoot. We had such a good time, and they gave me a really cool poster that I've just posted a picture of it on my Facebook page, is David Voorhees. So if you get a chance, go look at it. It's pretty amazing. So, and I'm surrounded by all of my family. I love them dearly, and it just meant the world to me. So Oh, you were in your car? Oh my gosh, Catherine, really? I had to work late and you just left the hospital. Oh, I was so glad you were there. It wouldn't have been the same without you. So I have two daughters who live in Asheville. I'm very lucky. I have two grandsons that are close by that I can't hug, and I hate it. So, but I love them, and we still can do some things around each other, like take the older one bicycle riding, and the younger one I can walk down the street while he runs his scoot bike. He's still on a little scoot bike, but he's not too far from pedaling, I think, right? So I use this little chamois just to finish off the edge of that. And I think this will be the last one to do. I'll finish by showing you what I'm making. So I just finished forming the cup. I'm going to choke in the base of it just a little to make it more like a goblet. Just slowly push it in there. And this part down here will be trimmed just a little bit on the wheel tomorrow after it stiffens up, and then I use a piece of bamboo that's been sharpened. Remove the excess clay. Use a piece of thin monofilament to cut under it. So these have got a little misshapen. I'll let them stiffen up a little bit. I'll make them round again with this little funny device. And then tomorrow, when they get a little drier, I'll add some black slip, which is in this jar. It's about the consistency of cream, and then I will coat them and then let them dry a little bit, and then we can just use various tools to carve through it or just scratch through it. It's a technique called sgraffito, which means to scratch. So I think it's an Italian term. So it's a technique that's been used all over the world by many, many different cultures, and they all have their own artistic expression. This is just a technique that leads to all kinds of possibilities, especially kind of the graphic-oriented ones. I also paint, where I'm actually applying the shape and the color of the whatever flower or something like that with the brush. This, I cover everything, and then we carve out what we want to leave. So that's how I do that. So, and I don't have these for sale on my Etsy site right now, but I should in about a week. I'll have some of these. These are already called for right here. But I am doing this as part of the Voorhees Family Art Show. We have live demos all day today and all day tomorrow. Please check you're on our Facebook page, Voorhees Family Art Show page, which has all the information. You can also go to our website, voorheesfamilyart.com, and that has links to all of the Etsy shops or sales sites for the 8 different artists. And it also has links to more than a dozen pre-recorded videos of studio tours, artist interviews, all kinds of cool stuff. There's something about our family story, about how we all got into the arts that's there. So I hope you'll make sure to jump over there and do that. And I can't remember who's coming. Oh, I know, at noon, Jane and Susan, my sisters, and our friend Chad Hagan are going to do a little show and tell on some of the raffle items that we are offering as part of our benefit for We Give a Share. And there are some cups in that. So please buy some tickets, buy more than one. We're over $1,500 that we've raised so far. And we really want to make a nice chunk of nice contribution to them. And you're the ones who are doing that. We've just offered our artwork to give away to the winners. We'll have 2 winners. We'll have group 1 and group 2. So you win a lot of different items. So make sure you go there, check out all the items. They'll do a show and tell about the different items at noon on the same live event here on Voorhees Family Art Show Facebook page. So check it out. Molly will be doing something at 1 o'clock. She'll actually be melting silver and making ingot and rolling some silver sheet to tell you a little bit about how she does that. So join us. There's lots more to offer, and appreciate everybody coming. And Kat,